people. Welcome to this live streaming. Today we'll go through the chapters 8 of this book, The Science of Getting Rich. And chapter 6 is about the most, the highest activity actually that we human beings can be engaged in, which is thinking. And he says here, thinking in a certain way. Thinking is actually, as I told, the highest human activity that we can be engaged in, and it's exclusive for us human. No other species in the world, as far as we know, can be engaged in the activity of thinking. So it's exclusive for us. And how important is it? All sciences, psychological sciences, the father of American psychology, William James, and Carl Gustav Jung, many others, all without exception agreed, as well as ancient traditions tell us that you become what you think about most of the time. So how important it is, it explains how important it is to think. But here is the thing that all mental activity is not actually what we can call thinking. That's why Wallace Wattles in this chapter says think in the certain way in order to obtain the results you want. Many people make the big mistake that they think that all mental activities we can classify as a thinking. Absolutely not. The great Henry Ford, the man who started from zero and became hero, we can say it. He was the richest man in the world during 20s and 30s, former century. So actually he could say something, he could have opinion, a right opinion about what thinking is about, because before he became the wealthiest man in the world, he was thinking a lot how to become this kind of person. So he used to say that thinking seems to be the most difficult and the hardest task to be engaged in, to be engaged in when we're looking on ordinary people, on people and their results. And he said that according to him, about 2% of population of people think. About 3% people think that they think. And 95% would rather die than think. That sounds fun, but it's actually tragic. And what's the difference between a mental activity and thinking? Because I told you that all mental activity we cannot classify as a thinking. So according to the definition by Bob Proctor, he says that thinking is mental activity when you connect your higher faculties like imagination, reason, perception, memory, intuition to create on the conscious level ideas and bring them into the physical existence. What is important here, that what change everything, the game changer is that you must have the purpose. If you do not have a purpose, or you are engaged in a mental activity, you probably entertaining something what in English we call ruminating. You ruminate. Also, you are playing the picture of yesterday, before yesterday of your life, over and over on the screen of your mind. You are running a circle and you think that you think. But actually, you are just engaged in more or less wordless mental activity that take your time, engage your attention, but it doesn't give you any results. So in order to think the certain way, the right way, he says you need to have the purpose, is crucial. And you need to think from the purpose. He says here, it makes all the difference. I will quote for you here. Probably he refers here to chapter number 6, and probably, hopefully, you read this chapter. He says here, turn back to chapter 6. Read again the story of the man who formed a mental image of this house, and you will get the fair idea of the initial step toward getting rich. You must form a clear and defined mental picture of what you want in life. You cannot transmit an idea unless you have it for yourself. You must have it before you can give it. And many people fail to impress the thinking substance because they have themselves only a vague and misery concept of the thing they want to do, they want to have, and they want to become. It's not yet enough that you should have a general desire for what to do, what you want, and what you want to become. Everybody has that kind of ideas. It's not enough that you should have a wish to travel, the example of traveling here, see things, live more, etc. Everybody has these desires also. And here's a very good example. If you were going to send a telegram message to a friend, you would not send the letter of the alphabet in the order and let him construct the message for himself. Nor would you take words and random from the dictionary. You would send a coherent sentence of what you want, one which meant something for him. When you try to impress your wishes upon the thinking substance, he says about the cosmic intelligent energy, or your subconscious mind, the same. Remember that it must be done by the coherent sentence. You must know what you want and be defined. You can never get rich or start the creative power into action by sending out unformed, unlogical, and vague desires. Go over your desires just as the man in chapter 6 I have described went over his house. See just what you want, and get a clear mental picture of it as you wish it to look when you get it. As the sailor, this is a very good example, as the sailor has the port toward which he says in his mind, you must have a clear mental picture continually in your mind. You must keep your face toward it all the time. You must not more lose the sign, or it's then the steersman lost sign of the compass. So you see, in order to think the certain way, you must have in your mind a very clear picture of what you want, because you think from the picture, from the goal you decided, you make the decision for you to obtain. If you do not have any goal, our mind is constructed that way that we have inside of us what we call the goal-seeking mechanism. You are the goal-seeking mechanism. If you do not have any you do not establish any worthy goal, something what you want obtain in your life, you can big goal, you can a smaller goal, you can weekly goal for your day. So what happens? You will put your attention on something will just pop up in front of your eyes. It's usually something you see when you're streaming your phone, social media, whatever it is, some gossip, and you will put your attention on it. Next day, you will put your attention on something else. Third day, you will put your attention of another thing, and you will running the loop in circle, day after year, week after week, month after month, year after year, and after 20 years, you will consider what all the years went, flied away, and I didn't achieve anything what I wanted because you didn't know what you wanted. And the goal you establish for yourself today will be your reality tomorrow, and you take it seriously. I remember my mentor, I think it's Bob Proctor, I have a couple of them, but even Bob Proctor told me that you can succeed beyond your wildest dreams. But remember, you will never succeed beyond the goal you set for yourself. The goal means not a vague vision. The goal is something you decided you will achieve. You start to think from this place, you start to navigate your everyday choices according to the goal, that you will priority the choices that will make you closer to the goal. You will select people in your life, and you will make progress. And when you start to make progress, it will be perpetuum mobile, self-fulfilling, self-fulfilling prophecy, and it will engage you to motivate you to put more energy to get what you want. It will be fun. After certain period of time, you just looking back and say, wow, what an amazing thing I achieved in my life or in this year and so on. It's absolutely worth it. For you who are serious, go down to the link and sign for my weekly, my team, weekly email. There we share this kind of ideas that will help you make your life what you want it to be for you, instead of be like live in the wind, flowing from one place to another and achieve nothing in life. Thank you very much for spending a few minutes with me, and I see you next week from Italy. Ciao.